Greetings. This is Ritesh Barot. I'm currently serving as the 90th president of Rotary Club of Nairobi. In order to mark the 90th anniversary, we decided to document some of the key achievements of many members of the club. We have with us some past presidents who are still active with the club and some senior Rotarians. And today with us, we have our past president, Evelyn Mungai, who's going to be interviewed by Dr. Margaretta Wa Gacheru. Joining in on the call also is past president Mike Eldon. But today, the focus is on our wonderful past president, Evelyn Mungai, who joined Rotary on the 29th of October, 1992. She is a member of Rotary Club of Nairobi, very active, and has served as club president in the year 2001. Interestingly enough, she was the first female president of Rotary Club of Nairobi. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to kindly listen to this wonderful, engaging, and enlightening talk. Dr. Margaretta, kindly proceed.
Yes, wonderful. Well, it's my privilege to talk to my dear friend, past President Evelyn. We've known each other for quite some time, and so I feel honored to take this opportunity for this wonderful ebook that we wanted to start, because one of the things that we know about Evelyn, as you said, President Ritesh, she was the first woman president, but we'll get to that, because I've just realized that she was also a past governor, district governor, which we also will hear about. But first, Evelyn, warmly welcome. We are so happy to have you with us tonight. Thank you for granting us some time. We're eating into your supper time, but it's wonderful to have you with us. Could I ask you, yes, could I ask you briefly, how did you come to become a Rotarian in the first place? You being such a busy woman, how did you find time, and what was your motivation? What appealed to you about Rotary?
Thank you, Margaretta. What a lot of questions. I'm wondering exactly where do I start. But let's go. I've been a Rotarian for 20 years, I think. 18. And I've never regretted joining Rotary for that period. I have learned so much. I have made so many friends. And I find it was worth my while to be, to be in that company. I have known you, Margaretta, for many years. We go back a long way. Now we've got another friend of ours who is Ritesh, who has become a friend as well. So Rotary, you can see it does many things. It helps projects when you are doing projects. It makes you have friends when you didn't have any. So you are never lonely. We always have somebody you can call, and they come in, at least to be with you if you're having a problem. So to me, Rotary is priceless, because I've been in many organizations, and sometimes you lose that touch, of a human being. It's a question of just emails, letters, and not really, to sort of to be together, to be fellows, like that's what we used to have, and we call it Rotarian, and we want our say Rotary really. I would say right now, because of the C-19, we are not meeting physically, and that really has been a downer for all of us, because we like to talk, we like to touch, we like to see somebody, but now we have to do what we can. And surprisingly enough, people are still attending through Zoom. And that means shows how precious Rotary is. If you can leave your house and go to a neighbor's house, if you don't have a phone, and then you do a Zoom. So it's priceless, and I don't regret really joining at all. No.
Oh, wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, could you sort of give us a little background on your own professional career. Before you came into Rotary, while you've been in Rotary, what has been your professional calling? What do you feel you have been doing from the start? I mean, I know you're a businesswoman. Tell us about this business, these businesses you have been in.
Oh, thank you. There are many. As a business person, you have to get used to doing too many things at the same time. And that's what I have done. I have got School of Design, as you know, which have been going on for 44 years.
The Evelyn School of Design.
Yes.
Wasn't this the first School of Design in Kenya?
It was the first School of Design in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and we are still going strong. And you know, would like many people to find out what we do, and also they get empowered on the work front, because that was work, even college. And talking of Rotary, that's on the philanthropic side, and other things beside making money. Not that we make much money, but at least we're adequate. And Rotary, really, where it is now, it's getting to be absolutely wonderful. I can see people contributing, and projects should not be given up because of money. People realize if I give it to Rotary, it goes to the right people. It doesn't, you know, get lost somewhere. So that also is another attraction with Rotary, because people are committed, and we don't have to bring them, let's get this money, No, they don't. There is a question of deciding, I'm going to do this because it's going to help, and it does help. Like, for instance, if we talk in terms of C19, you can see our club, which is Rotary, how Rotary, how it has helped people in the informal settlements and other places. People who don't have food, don't know where to sleep. There is this threat of C19. It's very gratifying to see that, and to see people leave their jobs and then they go and feed these very unfortunate people. But now is a question of what can we do more. It's always been done a lot. And I do a lot, and I have done a lot. And
yes.
Women organizations.
And then of course, besides my job and beside Rotary, I do have my, my women empowerment network, which I value, and which we will not forget. Margaretta, we have been through that together. I like it when women get together and then empower others, even if you don't empower yourself. And that is very, very much in vogue. And I have been involved a lot in these organizations. I'm taking it easy a little bit right now, and but I'm there for consultation, and then for going forward, and then seeing exactly what can we do to empower our young people, women, not just men. We're not leaving men out because they have been left behind. And then because women have become very strong, as you know, and then men might sort of say, well, where are we? So we empower them or encourage them. So we travel in the same train, so to speak. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now tell us, how did it feel to become the first female president of our Rotary Club? Being the first female president of a club that has for decades, from the beginning, been a men's club. What did you feel about that?
That's a very interesting chapter in my life, because there were no women in our club. There were just men, not in our club only, other clubs here that they
oh, wow.
could not take
You were the
women.
only woman? You were the only woman in the club?
I'm the only woman in the club. And
oh, wow.
And looking back, I see how wonderful it was, and I learned a lot. I gave a lot, and that really made my heart feel that I have done something which is wonderful and which you cannot regret. Before that, they were just all men club, and when they had women joining, they were not amused at all because they wanted to. They want to be men's club, and women, you go to your own club. But what happened eventually is that because of the strength of the men that really were supporting women, including Mike here, they said no, we'll join. Women must join because they are equal. And I didn't know about this going on behind. I didn't even know about Rotary. I didn't know that they don't want women. But eventually, when I was told that eventually they have allowed women, and then what happened is Mike, proposed my name. He wasn't my husband at that time. He was a Rotarian and a friend. So now we joined. I joined Rotary when they accepted. I went through all the stages, and it was the most amazing period of my life. And because what I do is that I look back and what I have done, and I said, yes, it was the right decision.
Well, it took a lot of confidence, self-confidence, to take on that role, especially you were faced every week with a room full of men. How did that feel? Was it you were not intimidated at all?
No, actually, I wasn't intimidated at all. I was not feeling that, these people are better than I am. And I think that one is a vibe. You feel it in your fingers that, everybody is the same. And they treated me the same.
Can I just add a couple of things here? That, first of all, by the time Evelyn was asked to be our president, we called them chairman at the time, there were other women by then in the club. But it's by the time you were asked to be president. Evelyn was the first lady member, but then a few other women started joining. But
so she was a trailblazer, in other words. Yeah. She was a trailblazer.
And when this question of Evelyn becoming president came up, it's not because Evelyn was pushing herself forward. It was some of the elder traditional Rotarians who thought that she would make a good leader of the club, who happened to be a woman. And I think this has been the situation with many leadership positions that Evelyn has been asked to fill, because, as you said earlier, Margaretta, because of her talents and skills and so forth, not because of her gender.
Which is wonderful, wonderful. Still, the people talk about breaking the glass ceiling. Did you feel that there was anything like breaking the glass ceiling, or did you just feel this is, you've joined many organizations. I know you've been part of many organizations and have played many leadership roles. Was this just another organization that you were taking the lead?
Not really. I wouldn't say so, because when I joined Rotary, I didn't feel that I was the only woman there and men will sit on their side. I felt, and if today you're asking, I'll sort of say, what problem, because I didn't feel any problem of any kind. I didn't get anybody sort of objecting. I became one of the boys, I must say,
Yeah, good.
So if we have lunch, I'll say, Evelyn, could you say grace and whatnot? When we finish, okay, you go next week. So they were respectful, I was respectful. And I think that's the secret, that you don't make people feel uncomfortable or threatened, which I did not do. It's a question of, I'm the only woman here. But I take my papers where I'm going, I go and I get into my car and go. Whereas some people would like to very strongly promote themselves, and that can be counteractive, which I was trying to avoid. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, that kind of leadership is exemplary, and I love to see it in a woman. Really, it's so important. Your example as a role model has been large. Let me say, really. But what I'd love for you to do is mention some of the highlights of that year, and especially some of the projects that you and your club were involved in during that year, and then we can talk about beyond. But your highlights during the year as a president.
You're asking me to tell you things that happened 20 years ago. I hope.
Sure.
You know, and sort of say, what did I do 20 years ago? I did, and I'm very comfortable that I did, and very proud that I did. We started what we call what can we call it? An orphanage in the outskirts of Nairobi.
Oh wow!
And it was one of the best projects that one can think of. We started with 20 kids, sponsored by a Rotary Club in America, and then we were in America, and they were looking after them. They were feeding them. They were anything they wanted, they would get, and then they find schools for them, and then we see kids who are very, very down and were not respected. They were hungry for love. Overnight, you see that they have put on weight. They feel when I call, they call me Shosho is come, you know, which means a grandmother. I'm sure you know that. And then when we get to a stage, we ask for more money. And it took off. It was wonderful.
Wow.
And also, it affected the area around the school. People started planting bananas because we didn't have bananas at that time. They had disappeared. So we approached one of the donors, and she planted the whole place with bananas. So when you go to somebody's house, they say, you know, because of Evelyn, we can have banana now to take to our children where we left. So that was one of the most amazing and gratifying projects that I do know. And that's why I came with a question of say, you know, take time to love one another, and then they love you in return. Those kids, I love them to bits, and whenever I go there, they'll run quickly to me, and then they said, okay, the Shosho has come. So that's one of the best projects that we have done, and it was with our club, and club was supporting the home as well. So, and Americans, when they get here or any other, they will run to them because they know they'll come with some goodies, you know. But more than that, we also have the garden within the school. We got computer laboratory, which they were being taught. Library and computers, and kids in the village learning to use computers. That was amazing, you know. So
really,
and of course, you know, people in the village also started learning computers, even older people, because they're not being charged, and there's a question of learning a new skill, really. And there was a clinic. We built a clinic, and then the people in the village don't have to come. Come to Nairobi
high school.
And then when we finished all that, then they came to us and say, you know, we don't have a high school here. We are the only who don't have high school. High school. So
oh my gosh.
we sourced again, and so then we built them a high school, and they did have one before. So now they didn't have one before. So now they started streaming into the high school, and it gives a good feeling because you are not empowering yourself in your business. You are empowering the population in that village.
Two of the girls are in college.
We have now, we try to get them internships, and then the ones who have left, because they've grown and become really young women. Like we've sponsored 2 girls at Evelyn College, and they're learning. And those are kids who are orphans. And if they're orphans and you all give them such an opportunity, you can imagine how they feel. They feel we're the same like the others, because you don't differentiate who is an orphan, who is not an orphan. They're all the same. Yeah.
This is huge. I mean, this is huge. I mean, and for Rotary to be associated with all of this is quite marvelous. I think I heard you speak one time about a village, and I thought maybe it was related to your neighborhood where you grew up. Is this the same one, or is this a different one that that was your was it the same, or is it a different village that I know you had to, I can't remember the name of your home village, but I think you also did, was it Korea?
Shura.
Shura, yes. Is that a different village, or was it
no,
similar?
It's the same village. I don't think you can take 2 villages, otherwise you crumble when you're trying to help. It's only one.
Yes, continue. That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I assume did this happen? Tell us about what you feel is the short and the long-term impact of these projects, because overwhelming, as you said, girls have gone to college, orphans have been, I mean, wonderful experience. Education has been especially marvelous. But how did Rotary inspire you to do all this? I mean, really?
Yeah. It's actually Rotary which made me do that. And also, I didn't go it alone. When we got the green light, we had quite a few Rotarians from our club. And somebody else who got involved with the building of the high school and then the school is Bimu Kantaria
of the orphanage.
Of the orphanage. And it's not a one-off. It's something which we should be let to grow, because once these kids leave, then we need, there's been so many applications, the kids that don't have parents, and what do they do? So it's a question of give them an opportunity, and we get people to donate, and people donate, and they say, what's happening, Shura? How much money do you want? And then we go along with them, and then they are there to oversee. The village people now also have taken over. They take foods to them. Yeah, on weekend, let's go and see our children. So they become everybody's child in the village. It makes me so good, so happy to see those kids and what has happened, and also the community, how they are taking it. Because we got beyond.
No, I mean, what's so amazing is that what you have done with Rotary is so multifaceted. You really built a village, and I mean, everything from education to agriculture to IT and higher education. It's quite extraordinary. But
can I just chip in again, Margaretta?
Yes, yes.
This village, however close to Nairobi, and it's just half an hour's or so drive away, people were just doing what their parents and their grandparents had done. This tends to happen in villages, because often the more dynamic people, they get further education and they go to the big cities, and they leave in the village those who are more conservative, more cautious. And here we started exposing them to new ideas, to new opportunities, and it was transformational.
Yes.
And the challenge is to get people to be active participants and to go beyond being dependents and recipients of handouts. And so this leadership nurturing is a very important part of this holistic village empowerment program that Evelyn led.
Wow. Is it still ongoing? Is the orphanage still there, and the school? Yes.
The school is still there. The orphanage, they have gone on leave, so they are not there. But the high school is there. The computer, lab is there. So is somebody we would love to take Rotary there, but quite a few Rotarians have been. Ritesh has been. Thank you, Ritesh. We were very, very happy to see Ritesh visiting the village and sort of saying, yes, we get more and more ambassadors to promote the school. And I can't begin to tell you how that changed my life. My job is not so much now. I want that to be my baby. And he's been my baby, but he's been adopted by so many people from here to America, to England, to Kenya, actually. So that's our baby, and we would like to let it grow. And when it grows, and it's going to help others. Yeah.
But I think I would propose that Ratesh and I and you and Mike, at least, go to Shura, to that village, and to take some photographs of some of the activities there to recall your tremendous role in the community. If I could, do you think that'd be possible?
We can always tell them you're going. The only thing is a question of is on holiday time now. I know they don't go back to January.
Yes. Oh no. As you say, COVID-19 is not the moment.
Absolutely. Otherwise, otherwise you can be arranged.
Yes. Now tell me, one of the things about Rotary that I think is so wonderful is that global connection. Can you recall any of the international clubs that partnered with you while you were developing these projects? You must have had some marvelous global friendships that evolved. People discovering your work.
There are quite a few actually, but I don't have the name of the clubs here. But the one I remember is the one that BIMO communicated with them, and they are the ones who approached BIMO. Where can we, put up a home for the children who are orphaned, through AIDS? And
it was a Rotary International project.
It was an international project, and
Rotary RI.
So now they put up the building. In fact, BIMO was going always with the supervisor, and they put up the structure. So it is owned by so many people, deep down, that they don't forget. And then
Bonnie Sutherland.
Yeah. Well, then we got a lady called Bonnie Sutherland from Canada. We got another lady from the US. I can't remember her name. So it attracts people because, like you said, what do you mean in the countryside? Yes, we said that's where they're needed. They are needed because here we've got so many people who are helping, which is very good. For instance, during this C-19, we have seen people helping people from the informal settlements, but that one nobody will think because it's in the countryside. Yeah.
Well, Evelyn and Mike, I'm so grateful. I think this is what you have done and continue to do. Both of you have ongoing leadership roles in our club, and we're very grateful for that. But this has been wonderful, and thank you so much, Evelyn. I mean, you really shared wonderful insights, and I'm glad you have been able to recall, as you say, 20 years ago is quite some time to remember, But thank you for doing so. And thank you for having the courage, really, to go forward and say, yes, I will be a chairman or a president of a Rotary Club. I mean, you must have been among the first women presidents in the world of Rotary International. I bet you were among the first. So thank you so much for not only for Kenya, but for all of Africa and Rotary International to discover that there's this amazing activity going on in East Africa, spearheaded by this woman, Evelyn Mungai. Thank you so. Yes. Ritesh, would you like to say something to close up our interview?
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Dr. Margaretta, for asking such interesting questions. But the star for today, our wonderful past President Evelyn, you are truly a wonderful inspiration to all of us in the club and beyond. And honestly, you've still maintained your position as such an active member. And we really appreciate and are grateful for the fact that you're always there to support us, to assist us, and to guide us. So thank you so much, Past President Evelyn, and thank you, Past President Mike, too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have a wonderful evening. Oh,
same with you.
Thank you for saving some time for us. And Mike, thank you for injecting some of those very valuable details. You two are a great team. A great team.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And thank you both, and whatever you're doing, may it be successful.